Hello. Hi everyone. How's it going? Hey, hey. Yeah, what I guess to answer one of the questions, I think Ghostly Fairy won. Spoilers. We'll be doing Ghostly Fairy. Yeah, hi. Yeah, nice to see chat again. Nice and lively. But I guess, now that everything's in order, I think I'm just gonna get started. So, good morning everybody. Or good afternoon, I should say. And before I begin, I want to let everybody know that we're not just an art school. We're not just a YouTube channel. We're also an art school. So we art nerds stick together. So be sure to check out our social media in the description below, and check out our website for our classes, where you can get critique from me and others, and guidance and encouragement from other instructors. And if you'd like to support us, so we could keep making free stuff, you could go on our Patreon for $2 per month, and you could get access to perks like the working files that I'm going to be working on right now, and what else? Yeah, critique sessions and class recordings, and a huge discount on classes. So you can also go on YouTube to become a member, and you can get our emotes and sub badges. So also our classes have limited amount of spots, so be sure to check it out before they're gone. Oh yeah, wanted to say that, get that stuff out of the way. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's immediately the first thing I thought of when I heard that we were doing fairy. I, I thought it was just perfect. My second idea was this, actually. Hold on, let me... This is it, but it's kind of cursed. I kind of look like a Quidditch. Like the thingy from Harry Potter. Like the little flying thing. Instead of like a fairy from Zelda. But yeah. I guess this is a nice doodle, to show what we'll be doing today. We'll be doing a fairy, and let's see. Let me get the doodle out of the way, and I already drawn the wrong layer. Okay, let me just merge that, delete, and hide that. So, yes, indeed, there will be a quick notes on what I usually do. And so for fairies, I'll just put this on the side so it's more interesting. I think to start off the process before you even begin, I would look up the lore. Because I think if you're trying to do a fictional or mythological creature, it's always good to look up the lore. And I don't mean, I don't mean going onto a video game that has fairies in it. I mean, it's good to take inspiration from, like, video games and stuff. But I feel like when you're taking inspiration, it's better to do it from the source itself. And yeah, that's a really good question. Which fairy are we talking here? So, I looked up, I did some quick, Googling to see what fairies are associated with. And what I found is that they're associated with the forest, they're associated with being wind spirits, associated with being a witch's familiar, like a witch assistant. These are the options in the poll, by the way. And last but not least, I saw that, what was it? The last one that won was a ghostly fairy. And I included this option because I think some people believe that fairies are spirits of the dead, spirits of the departed. And it's always good when you're researching this stuff to take inspiration from the very source, because if you take inspiration from Zelda, it's good, but what ends up happening is something like this. So this is the source, right? And then it goes through the Zelda filter. And then it goes through you, and then it goes through the U filter. So after going through the Zelda filter, there's like way less space for you to be creative, in my opinion. Because Zelda's already done the thinking, like in the Legend of Zelda universe, they tried to fit it into their universe. So there's already stuff that they've thought through, So coming from the source is always fun because it's fresh, you know. And let's see, what else do I have for my notes? Hi, evening. Yeah, those are the free emotes, classic. And I guess I wanted to talk about this too. I wanted to say that I wanted to focus more on coloring for today because somebody in the comments of the poll, they asked a really nice question. They asked about how to do transparency, and really, I don't really do much coloring in my stream. Like, it's usually just a second thought, so I really want to get to coloring as soon as possible. So we won't be focusing too much on, what's it called? Won't be focusing too much on anatomy this time around. Where did I learn how to draw fairies? Well, the truth is, all you really need to do is learn how to draw like a human, because mostly elves are pretty, or not elves, fairies are pretty human. And all you really need are the wings. The wings and the short stature. So really, if you know how to learn, or if you know how to draw a human, then you know how to draw a fairy. Just add wings to it. Let's see. And experience, yeah, for sure. Human and dragonfly. Exactly. So it's as simple as that, right? But we're gonna add our own spin to it, since, again, what won the poll was a ghostly fairy. So I'm gonna start off by drawing, like, I'm gonna keep the pose really simple, like a side view thing. Because usually I would think of different poses, but I want to dedicate all my time to coloring this time. Fairies are just fancy humans, aren't they? Well, depends. Because sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. I'm pretty sure I read about it, and like I clicked Googling, some people believe that they're lost children. Children who got lost in the forest. And then they became fairies. Pretty spooky. And you can see here, whenever I draw, like, my anatomy, I start off with simple geometric shapes. It's the secret to pretty much drawing anything, no matter what it is. And let me fix the proportions a little bit. So I want this to be a ghostly fairy, and already in my head, going back to the associate stuff, so I mentioned to try to associate stuff. Whenever I think of ghostly, maybe think of like the dead, So maybe I'm gonna give her funeral attire inspired, like, outfit. Something along those lines. So it'll be like ribbony from what I've seen, and lots of dark colors. And so you can see that long neck. Yeah, it is a little bit long, but I like it that way. Because honestly, the head is pretty big too, so I think it fits. Yeah, sprites. Yeah, I forget. I think they said that sprites are more human or more insect-like. I think that was the difference. Well, let me. My voice is. Sorry, had to clear my throat. But let me see the questions here. Do you enlarge the head or the legs when drawing someone with a tiny body? Before I answer that, let me clear my voice again. Sorry. But that's a really good question. It honestly just depends. but I feel like making somebody have a bigger head makes it more cutesy. So if you're going for like a more cutesy feel, then for sure it would be perfect to enlarge the head. But if that's not what you're going for, you just want to go for like a person of short stature, then maybe try to just do like normal anatomy. And so right here, you can see that I started off with the legs and the body first, because it's in the middle. That's just a personal take for me. Like to start off just like that, and now we have a nice base for us to draw our fairy design on. How do I draw people? You don't know how to draw people. I guess, I think it's all about learning their proportions, like for me, I know the proportions, and I know how to simplify them into shapes, like the head, this, and then the body, I simplify it like this, simplify it to the rib cage, just like that. So my tip always for studying people is to know your anatomy, pretty much. Like, know how to build these shapes in like 3D shapes, because if you do, you can pretty much just turn it around, change the angle, for example. So I'll do another example here. Some quick examples of what I mean. Because if you know how to draw in simple shapes, then you could pretty much draw anything. I always tell that to my students, because it's true. You could draw anything. Look at this, I'm drawing a skeleton now. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. And also it just takes practice, so try not to worry about whether or not you could do it really fast, because speed comes with time. And since it's a ghostly fairy, I kind of want to give a gloomy or a serious expression. Yeah, whenever I'm thinking about how to simplify it, you just think about ball jointed dots. Or ball jointed dolls, sorry. Yeah, it's perfect. How do you know where the shoulder should be relative to the arm? Honestly, just experience. Yeah, no problem. Of course. You just get it from experience, because I think the first thing I would do is the stuff I just talked about earlier. And then second would be trying to find landmarks, I guess. So like for me, the landmark that I like to use is the diamond right here. So this is the shoulder blades, and then the arm, just like that. So that's like a little landmark that I like to use. So try to find those landmarks for yourself as well, because if you look here, make the diamond now, just like that. So I think it's more or less right with foreshortening. And then I wanted to have black sclera, so like black eye whites. And then I think, oh right, I forgot her most important part, the wings. So I want her wings to be smoky, so kind of like droopy. And so you can see that when I'm drawing my lines, they're very organic. They're very curved. I try not to leave any hard edges. That's just a personal thing. There's a time for it. But I think for this one, it fits really well. Draw it like this. Yeah, practice. But practice wisely, so try to practice with purpose. Because for me, right, whenever I would draw, I would just jump right into it. And then I would fail. I'd be like, okay, why did I fail, and why am I not happy with my drawing, right? And then I would be like, oh, okay, I think the head is kind of whack, or maybe the jaw is a little bit crooked or something. And so now I know. Now I know what I need to work on, and yeah, and then I work on it. So I think when you practice, you don't just bang your head into the wall. You know, you should also try to figure out what you need to work on, pretty much. Ooh, a draconic. A draconic fairy, yes? Beep. And then, let's see. I think I want to make her eye smaller, actually. Beep. Beep, beep. Deep, deep. And what else? I wanted to put a flower in her hair. I think if it were up to me, I would want draconic. Draconic is always cool. And then I want to draw like a spider lily on her hair. It's like that red Japanese flower. Let me look up a picture of it actually. Red spider lily. You guys could look it up for yourself, and you might recognize it. You might recognize this flower. And let's see. Open image. Open. Right there. And I wonder what a fairy would taste like. You could ask Link. I mean, yeah, I was pretty surprised in Breath of the Wild when they let you cook fairies. I wouldn't think that they would let me. I thought they would like fly out the pan, but they do. Fairy red. Sugar cubes. Well, for me, I think they would taste like trying to think. I don't know why, but I think they would taste really, what's it called? You know those like exploding candies that you would leave in your mouth and they would pop? I don't know why. That's what I feel like it would be, because the fairy dust. That's what I think of. Or maybe cotton candy. You know, because don't they call cotton candy fairy floss or something? Call it fairy floss. And let's see. Pop rocks. And let me fix the hair a little bit. So I'm drawing all of these like curves, I guess. Curves that sort of look like the soul, I guess, when I see it in like shows, anime. They have like the swirl to it. And I guess it's also pretty similar to the spider lily, like the flower here. Because if you haven't seen it, it's pretty like spindly, like this. I'm taking inspiration from that. And let's see. There, so we're designing a ghostly fairy. And somebody mentioned, or asked, I guess, about how to draw transparency. And I want to show the two ways of how to do it. So, in digital at least. So there's non-destructive and destructive. So whenever I say non-destructive, it means that you could go back, right? So for example right here, let's say I'm shading, right? And I make it blue, or like maybe a darker red. I'm shading, right? And this is non-destructive because I could turn off the shadow, just like that. But if it's destructive, that means that the only way you could undo it is with undo. But otherwise, it's just in one layer, pretty much. And both of them have their uses. I know it sounds negative, to do destructive, but honestly, I find myself doing destructive more often because I do more painterly stuff than going back and having lots of layers. So I'll show you guys what I use it for in a little bit. So just the layer. There. And so, for example, right, say like I'm doing the skin. Maybe I want to do like a grayish, dark gray sort of skin color for this fairy. Okay. Maybe a little bit too dark. I'll add the shadow afterwards. Okay. So right now I'll be showing you the non-destructive way of doing transparency. Do that. And even with non-destructive, there's lots of ways to do it as well. So let's see. Where transparency goes, don't you need something to contrast it? Like an object in the background or something. That's true. Yeah, it does affect what's happening in the background, but you don't necessarily need a background. So I'll just I think that's a little bit complicated, but I can show. I can show later on. So say for example that the clothing is this dark. I'm using a multiply layer so that it does the bulk of the work for me. So like that. So you could already see that it's transparent, right? And then you could go in with like your airbrush and then erase it just a little bit right there for that little bit of transparency. Just like that. And then I erase that. So this is the, what's it called? The non-destructive way. And then, then you could also, where is it? Dense. You could also paint on top of it too, if you want to add some hard layers over it. And so, I guess going back to the background stuff, how it affects backgrounds, I'll show you guys the principle. Because if you know the principle, then you can pretty much do whichever method you'd like. So say we have a blue background. And so the simple principle, or actually I should say what the what's it called, the transparent color is. So for example, maybe you have a piece of cloth that's transparent and it's this purple. So this is the cloth, like very hard, not light, no light goes through it. But grab my airbrush, and now I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna softly go over it and then color pick it. So you could see that in between this purple and this blue, right? Look at my color wheel for this one. You can see that there's quite a distance between them. And whenever something is transparent, you could sort of think of it going through a filter. So in this case, the purple is the filter. So now this blue has to travel to that purple, right? So if you look here, if you color pick it, you can see this is the background and this is the color between the purple. You can see in the color wheel that it's moving towards the purple, So that's the simple principle of it. It's moving, and the closer it is to blue means the more transparent it is, right? And the farther it is from blue, like right here, it means it's slightly transparent, but not entirely. So that's the simple gist of transparency right here. And that's pretty much how I do it manually, which is how I like to do it. And so You would do it manually like this if you want to do a painterly style, or if you don't want to use too many layers. But if you want to use lots of layers, right? Like for example, this one, it's transparent, and you can turn it off, right? Turn it on and off. This one is perfect if you're making like a VTuber model or something, or if you want to be able to change your outfit. So that'd be perfect. So yeah, that's the quick gist of it. And I think I'll be going over it more once we finish our sketch here. Let's see. And let me go back to what chat is saying. Yeah, fairies with bigger eyes definitely cuter. Oh, sure. Bigger eyes are just cute. Toot toot. I was gonna design her outfit, and I want it to be like really wavy, just like everything else. And this one maybe lots of waves. It's kind of reminiscent of a flower, which I like. And then that, the other sleeve. They're right there. And I wanted to add like a big ribbon. Let's see. Was it like this? Let me look up like a ribbon design. Doot, doot, doot. There's also rebirth symbolism, yeah. For fairies. So you could definitely take inspiration from that. But yeah, I think we have something pretty similar in the Philippines where, you know, if you have a butterfly hanging around you, they say that it's like a relative. It's passed away. And they're just visiting, you know? Pretty nice. One of the beliefs. And hold on. Let me fixing something behind the scenes here. Or because I'm thinking about whether I should add the ribbon or not. But I'm leaning towards no right now. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just add like nice. And then there. Wait, no. Let me erase my line so that it's not as confusing. Right there. Erase this and this. And then the belt. Little belt. Just like that. And then the big dress like this. And it'll be all smoky. Okay, maybe not like that. Maybe like this. Careful. And let me back read again. Okay, bye Cheeto Dust. No. So right there. And then I'm gonna add like a little line to signify where the little fold to signify where the legs are. And I will raise it just a little bit like that. And then the hand. So you got thingy, thingy, and then toot toot, other hand. Just like that. And I think I didn't really talk too much about the designing, to be honest, because I really do want to get to coloring soon. So we spent like 30 minutes on, what's it called? 30 minutes on designing, and now it's time for coloring. So I wanted to use like this gray skin color. And I kind of wish I didn't erase the, what's it called? I didn't erase the arm sketch there, but still workable. There. Deep, deep. And I like to lay down my colors first, you know, try to divide them. Deep. And let me clear some stuff here. Time flies, I know. Thank you. Well, I'm glad it's part of your Sundays to begin with. So, thank you. Thank you for drawing with me. And here's another thing that I like to tell my students as well. You know, it's, when it comes to art, there's no real step-by-step, you know, like, even with something like anatomy, right? There is no, like, what's it called? Step 1, draw this and draw that. It's more just learning how stuff works, you know? There is no, like, formula for you to be always good. Because sometimes the formula is like, oh, you need to study this, or sometimes you're just having a bad day and you won't be able to draw. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about that. Because being good at art, what it really means is, you know your stuff, and you're able to show your stuff, you know? I think that's the simplest way of putting it for me. It's not about who has the right tool or whatever. Because if you know how to do stuff, right? Like, for example, the transparency stuff, you can pretty much draw whatever your heart desires. You know? Watching while embroidering. Yeah, so nice. Another form of art. And maybe, I'm trying to think of what hair color to go with. Maybe just like a darker... I'm trying to think of what hair color to go for. But maybe white. White is always a nice one. Nice contrast. Deep, deep. And then the elvish ears, I will focus over that. And then there. Yeah, I really wanted to keep the lines nice and organic for this one because, you know, fairies usually associated with nature, regardless. So right there. And what's more natural than curvy lines? Like this. Then I'll add this little hair at the back. Nice. Yeah, it's also good to have a different hobby, you know, like sometimes you can take inspiration from that other hobby. So I think for most people, you know, it's video games, maybe it's embroidering. For me, it's airbrushing. I love airbrushing. Let's see, actually. What time is it? Fairy penguin. Didn't realize it was so fitting. Yeah, I mean, you could. But funny enough, you know, fairies could fly, but I don't think penguins can, sadly. So maybe that's their only chance to fly. Moonlight. Yes. That's so nice, actually. Deep. So now I'm gonna color in the outfit, but I'm not sure if I just go with like a darker... Maybe I'll make it like a light blue. Or it looks kind of icy now, so I think I'll just go with like a gray. Like a darker gray. For now, at least. Yeah, because usually stuff like color I would get out of the way to begin with, but I really want to focus on coloring techniques instead of how to decide color. So I'll just be quickly going over it. And then maybe I'll add another, kind of looks like a jellyfish now, but I'll try my best to make it more flowery than jellyfish-like. Because I do want to add some glows, because I love adding glows. So small, a foot tall. Let's see. Are you talking about fairies? Or are you talking about penguins? Are penguins like a foot tall? Are they that small? There's no way, right? And this other layer. I got it. Maybe deep. I'll make it layered. This dress. And also, honestly, another inspiration I have for this one is Hades from the Disney Hercules movie, because I really like the smokes that he has. Right there. So I'm taking inspiration just from like the smoky effect. If you're making your own species, would you advise for it to be more detached from reality and just adding stuff without a reason? Or more grounded in reality and biology and all of that? That's a really good question. Because I think it depends, right? So if you want... maybe if you want like a grounded, like say, Stranger Things sort of style, right? And then there's like monsters in it. Then maybe you could try adding like a more grounded design where you take inspiration from like certain beasts and animals. Or you could go the complete different route, right? Maybe it's like the juxtaposition where you have realistic people, but then you have these like crazy looking like anime cartoon looking monsters, and that has its own appeal. So honestly, it depends. I can't really answer that unless it really depends on the story you're trying to tell, right? So if you want to go for like a realistic one, it would say a lot, right? So these kind of decisions say a lot about the story you're trying to tell. So I guess that's my answer. It depends, you know. These you could break these rules or you could abide by them. Let's see. What else did I miss? Yeah, I mean, I think it's fun though. It's fun to get distracted, see what chat is saying, you know? Because if I wasn't looking at chat, then what's the point of streaming, you know? Get to entertain your thoughts, but alright, bye. Word. Yeah, underwater is just so freaky. Like, I remember watching this really interesting video. It's called Whale Falls. And whale falls, they're like this biome that gets formed at the bottom of the ocean. So, you know, the bottom of the ocean's really barren. And whenever a whale dies and falls down, it creates like an ecosystem. It's pretty weird. It's really nasty to think about, but sort of interesting. It's one of those things. And I'm pretty sure, I forget the numbers, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think they said that it lasts up to 50 years. So imagine just this one whale forming an ecosystem just because it decided to like rest there, decided to die there. It's crazy to me. That's how big whales are. And then, okay, I'm trying to think of how I should start coloring this, but I'll get to it soon. And then I'll color in the red spider lily right here. So yeah, I really like this nice red, stands out. And you can see that I'm the type who likes to lay down the colors right here. I like to lay it down first. I mean, you could do line art in between, but I do not like doing line art. It just takes so much time, and it's like drawing again. You know, it's like you're drawing the thing for a second time. And the little thingies that the spider lily has. Deep, deep. Just like that. Tardigrades. Fortunately, I have art block. Can you guys recommend something? So, define art block. Like, you can't think of anything to draw, or do tell. Yeah, lots of things under the sea. Okay, dude. Where's my sketch? This one. Let me turn down my sketch a little bit so that I see more of my colors now. And then I'm gonna start sketching out the eyes now. Like that. So I wanted to give like a dark sclera. And I think I'll give her like white eyelashes. So like that. Deep. And then white. Deep, deep, deep. And let's see. Oh, you miss. I think that's a take a break angle. I think you should just take a break, you know, like give yourself time to breathe. I think when it comes to that stuff, you only really have two choices. It's either try to push through it, or you take a break. Because if you don't, if you have no idea what to draw, then it's gonna add to the frustration, I think. So it's just better to take a little break, you know, then come back. And then, you know, once you've calmed down, try to figure out why. Like, why did I feel that way? Was it because I couldn't think of anything? Or was it because I was messing up too much on this one part in my drawing? So yeah, try to figure out why you're feeling bad afterwards. And then taking a look at my drawing. What time is it? Okay, halfway through. Just had an idea. What if the fairy had skeleton markings? Ooh. We could, but then I think this is enough elements for me actually. I just want to add like a ghostly feel to it. And then I'm gonna do the that's a nice suggestion though. Then maybe I'll make the sleeves slightly darker. So right there. So I want to do this contrast in the dress where the big part is really you know, really wide curves, but then this one deep, deep, deep. Or let me try it again. Some nice what's it called? Nice ruffles to it. And then I'm gonna add maybe the underside is blue. Or not that. This one? Yes, there's nothing. Because I wanted it to be glowing. Deep, deep. And then one more. The final sleeve. Deep. And oh, Right. Okay, so the way I laid out my layers. Yeah, honestly, I think, um, unlike me, I think you guys should take more time to to plan out your layers. Because I think for me, I'm just doing this real quick, just so I could have something to show. And doop. She looks kind of like an elegant fake queen. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so far, I think I'm laying down all the base colors really nicely. And then finally, it took some time, but I've set it up. You know, now I'm gonna do transparency pretty soon. Transparency on the sleeves. Or not this. Is this the one? What? Oh, this one. So now I go back here. Or not that. And I'm only adding this color because I want it to be differentiated from the other. Doop, doop. I want it to be able to be easy to differentiate for now. Because I don't think the sleeves will be this dark. I guess you could have taken inspiration from mushrooms too. I didn't think of that. But it's a little bit too late for that now, I think. Ooh. Let's see. You're drawing a character sheet. That's nice. PSA, name layers. Yeah, name layers, especially if you're working with somebody else, but for me, I don't need to work on. I don't need to name layers. Life is too short. Well, that's just a personal thing. Of course, name your layers if you'd like to, but for me, this takes too much time. And then just like that. And then where is it? Trying to think of, maybe I'll shade the hair first. Or no, I was talking about transparency. I should do that. Deep. And let me make like a new layer. Yeah, this is the sleeve, so perfect. So I'll show you the first method. So if you're gonna put everything in a filter, or in a folder, I mean, like this, put it on the through layer mode, so you can see that it's called through now, right? And that basically just means, I'll show you how it works. Because if you add multiply, right, the way multiply works is that it affects all the layers below it, right? But if you put it in a normal folder, or let me do that again, normal folder, and then multiply, you can see that it works differently, right? It's not as refined. That's because it doesn't have the information, right? Like you can see the background, doesn't recognize it. But if I put it as through, you can see that it starts affecting everything now. So that's a really important thing to remember. And so if I were doing this, well, let's see. If I were doing this non-destructively, right, I would go on to multiply, and then you can see that it's really dark. And then I would start softening it up. And so the general rule to transparency is that, you know, the thicker the fabric is, the less below you would see, right? Just as simple as that. And then you would do that. And then this one, go on multiply, right? Then you would use that. And then this one would also go multiply, just like that. So this is one way of doing it. And then I'll go back. And you can already see that the transparency is very subtle, right? Nice and subtle. And then, where is it? So like this. It looks something like this if you wanted to make it transparent. And let's see. Well, maybe that's one way, but that's not the way I like to do it. I like to do it want to do it more traditional, I guess, for lack of a better word. Just because I have more control over it, and I want it to be painterly. That's the important part. I want it to be painterly. And so right there, I'm gonna color it the original color first that I had in mind. But yeah, ditto what Daria said. You know, it's only really important if you're working with somebody else. And also it's just important to know what's happening, I guess. It's to give you context, you know, on what's happening. But for me, in Clip Studio, I have the operation tool. So pretty much I just click on that, the operation tool, and then I could click on whichever layer I wanted to work on, and then yeah, it just lets me. So like that, or like that, you know, I could just click on it without having to shift through my layers. That's the tool I like to use if you're using Clip Studio. What program does everybody use? I use Krita. I use Clip Studio. What about environmental fairies? A fairy in a jungle. Yeah, maybe it's like a Tarzan style, you know. Wearing that stuff. Inspired by that. Let's see, this one. Want that to be peeking just like that. And there's lots to work on, but I'm trying to figure out. Ooh, welcome back. Yeah, we just started laying down the base colors right here, and I think I'm gonna take a break from doing the sleeves. I want to work on something else. I want to work on coloring the hair. So I was thinking of adding a more purpley color, or maybe make it more blue. I think. Let's see what that looks like with a more bluish. I think yeah, this is perfect right there. And so I want to show you guys lights, or not light. I want to show you guys hard and soft shadows, because that's how pretty much the basis of how I shade everything. So the simple part is that hard, right? It means there's a hard cutoff. Then soft means there's a softer transition. So something like this, where we're gonna soften this up a little, like that. Blending it just a little bit. So I'm gonna add all my hard edges first, because that's how I like to work. I like to add hard edges first, and then soften them up after. Wow, it looks pretty. Thank you. And then I'm gonna add a shadow below the hair, just like that. And then you can see that when I'm doing these, right, I'm trying to describe the shapes of the hair. I'm not just adding them randomly. So I'm kind of picturing them as like strands. Or not strands, clumps maybe is closer, but there, I'm gonna soften this up. And soften this up. Yeah, so you can see that I'm leaving, even though I'm softening it up, I'm leaving a part that's hard right there as like a separator. And maybe I'll brighten this up a little. Maybe this one's too hard of a turnaround, but yeah, I like to think of hair as sort of like clouds. Well, thank you. Yeah. just a blue and gray. It's just a nice ghostly color, in my opinion. Doot, doot. And I'm trying my best to make it not look neon. I still want it to look more reminiscent of spirits than neon. So I will work on that in a little bit. And honestly, I think, honestly, I blend a lot and it's a bad habit, but I just like the finish that it gets. So I'm trying to see if it's like worth doing it, but so far it is worth doing it. So satisfying. And and then I'm gonna add there. So I'm adding like some nice and cloudy textures onto the hair. And then maybe I'm gonna soften this shadow a bit because I don't want it to be that dark. And then maybe I want to add some of that darkness back. And this. Here we go. And what is chat saying? Thank you. I'm flattered. Cyberpunk fairies? That'd be interesting. Deep, deep. And then right here, I think I'll fix up the other part of the hair now, this part. But I'll only quickly go over it. I won't spend too much time on it. Just like that. And then, I think I'll start shading in the skin now. And you can see that when I pick my darker colors, I don't just go gray, like a darker gray. I move around in the color wheel as well. So this one, a little shadow under her neck. I think 1800s could be interesting too. Yeah, I think. Yeah, in the 1800s, there were definitely a lot of nature-related drawings. In the 1800s, it was the industrial era. And it was pretty interesting because around the 1800s, lots of artworks were coming out that were pretty much nature-related. Pretty sure it's called arts and crafts. And Art Nouveau, you've probably seen Art Nouveau, you know, like but give a gist of it, it's all like nature related. And it was all nature related because the industrial era was around the time people were only getting used to factories, you know, they weren't used to like the city environment. And so a lot of people were kind of wishing for like the nature, you know, like the nature way of living back in the day. And that's why lots of art had lots of flowers and stuff, flower inspiration. So yeah, little fun fact, arts and crafts. I think I don't need to sketch anymore actually. And so there. What is this? Okay. And then the blue, and then the black. And then maybe I'll add in the whites as well. Toot toot. White eyelashes. And then a little bit of skin shading. shadow on top of the nose. Just like that. And let me see. Supernatural summer. Yeah, it's also pretty crazy that when we say the 20s, we don't think of like the old 20s anymore. This is the 20s. We're in it. It's not the 1920s anymore. It's the 2020s. So pretty. A Grim Reaper fairy. I wouldn't say that she's the Grim Reaper. Maybe she's like an assistant. So like there. Maybe add like a little bit of... Add like... Or actually, I'll just leave it like this. Leave it like that. And then maybe I'll color in the red here. Deep, deep. And so you can see that I'm putting the most amount of effort in the face because I want people to look at the face. And then everything else I will try to see what I can come up with in this limited amount of time. Because we have 25 minutes. Just checked. I could do that. I could make good time with that. Beep. There. I think I'm trying to make it too clean. I think if I have way more time, I would make it even nicer, but I think this should be enough detail for now, actually. Beep. Merge. Yeah, Grim Reaper's family. And I guess it adds to like the mythos, right? Because fairies are usually assistants. They're never really like the main character, you know? That's how they're depicted in media most of the time. They're like hard workers, or like they're the sidekick. So maybe it's the same for me. Maybe to give her a bit more background, she's like the assistant of the Grim Reaper. And then her collarbone right here. Or what is this? Oh, because I haven't merged it. There. Yeah, I like to merge my layers just because it's less of a headache to do so. And her feet. I just noticed that her feet a little bit janky. So I will extend that. Just a nice silhouette for her feet. And yeah, now that I've worked on the face nicely, I think it's about time to add the transparency I was talking about. So I've shown you guys how to do the non-destructive way, and now I'm gonna do it the Iggy way. I just like to do it myself. Just like that. And okay, the blue of the fairy. And I do it like this because I know that I won't need to move it around anymore. It's not like I'm planning to make changes. And so I like doing it manually like this. And then the second one, add a bit of blue bleeding through. But yeah. Love her eyelashes. Yeah, I love her eyelashes too. It's very nice. And I'm gonna add some fold marks on here. And then I think I'm gonna merge them all now, actually. Merge. Yeah, perfect. Because I like doing stuff manually like this, because I don't know, it's just more fun to me. Instead of having to rely on layers. I guess you get a better understanding. But that doesn't mean you should outright avoid them, by the way, so... Yeah, to each their own, right? Yeah, maybe it would have looked better with the what's it called, with layers, but I want to do it like this, nice and deep. And maybe I'll make this part darker. Deep, deep, deep. And what else? A mouse with a top hat. Okay, I'm trying to back read it. Oh, okay. You guys are talking about this person's circus comic. I mean, you can never go wrong with the lion, right? There always has to be like the crazy animal in the circus, and the lion is pretty good. And then maybe it's time to add the belt around her waist. Yep. Doot, doot, doot. Then I'll add the folds myself. Doot, doot. What else? Right. I want to add like a trim. You can never go wrong with adding trims to your outfit. Trim is this thing right here. Just like that. It's a nice nice dividing line, I guess. I'm trying to see if this would look good if I added like a I kind of like it, but I don't know. Maybe not. I won't add. And now I add a little bit of shading onto the outfits. Yeah, a clown who hates his job. Like a character. I'm just trying to back read chats. And what else? What would I name her? Miss Ghostla. This is always hard. I mean, the last time somebody asked that, I just named it after one of our members. It's nice. We named Sue the Robot for our robot design from the last stream I did. Beep. I think I am going to beep and soften up these edges a little bit. Oh right, maybe I should add folds onto some folds onto here and there. Beep. Right there. Let's see. Doot, doot. Let's go hop on the fairy name generator. Miss Weepley, Kachina, Spider, Spider Lily. I kind of like Lily, just because of the lily on her head. There. I think I'm gonna add this. I think Lily is what I'm selling on. Nice and simple. Octavia. That's also a nice one. But I've decided. Name her Lily. I should have turned on my sketch. What did my hand sketch look like again? Okay. And then beep. I'm just gonna trace over my sketch here. Deep, deep, deep. There we go. There, there. And then we shape the hand a little bit better. Yeah, draw a strawberry. A strawberry, I don't know if it would fit the whole ghostly vibe. But I just realized that we haven't designed the wings too much yet. I got 15 minutes though. I'll take a break and find something else to do. Yeah, sometimes it just happens, yeah. Like, you're just kind of burnt out, you know? It happens. But, yeah, I think it's for you to figure out whether you want to keep drawing at that point or no, you know? Because sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So, yeah. Try to figure it out. And then should start shading a bit quicker now. See, this is the problem with shading. Like, you get so into it, and really, you shouldn't spend this long, to be honest, on shading. But I like the effect that it has, so. And then right here, maybe I'll add a nice gradient at the bottom. Like that. Nice and ghostly. And then maybe I'll make it like a hot white on the tip. Just like that. Maybe not that bright. Because I don't want it to take too much attention now that I see it's taking too much attention. So maybe like this. Over rendering, yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where you just learn it on by experience, pretty much. Deep, deep, deep. And then I think this should be enough. I think. I'm gonna shade it just a little bit. And then now, time for the wings. Let me fix up the wings a little bit, actually. So let me change the angle. That. And then change your angle. Like that. And so I'm still gonna go for like this dragonfly-like style. Or let's see. Deep. And then I have an idea actually. These layers. And I got a back. Yeah, when it comes to burnout, you know, only you could tell, like whether you need to keep drawing or not. Pretty much. Because sometimes I find that you just gotta push through it, and sometimes it works. But you know, you need to know, and the only way you really find out is to try it yourself. Then I think I'm just gonna add like a nice sort of stained glass pattern, maybe. And I think I'm gonna merge it all in one layer after this one. After this trick I'm about to do. So right now I'm dividing it different lines. Maybe I should make the tip black actually, like that. This has a nice deep, deep. I think that's nicer actually that way. Deep, deep. Tea, water, tea. Yeah, what kind of... So what's the storybook about? So why... Is it just like Thirsty, the owl? Now, why would he do this? What did he mean by this? Oh, thank you. Yeah, that stream's so much better because you also have the streamer's attention. So yeah, I'm doing this sort of effect on here, using some nice blue. You can tell that I really love the color blue. Yeah, I'm not really going into this with like a specific thing in mind, I guess. It's just color the top parts blue, and then maybe color the bottom purple, maybe? I'll see. See if that looks good. Yeah, purple or magenta is better. Deep. Yeah, just a nice random pattern. Deep, deep. Blue at the top, pink at the bottom. And then let's see. If it's made of stained glass, well, it's stained glass reminiscent. Yours is royal purple? I think mine is this blue, actually. This, is it periwinkle? I don't know what it's called, but like, purple closer to or blue closer to purple. Yeah, periwinkle. Or hold on. This one? Yeah, I'm gonna try to, again, blend it just a little. I like the nice effects. We'll see. It's looking more and more ghostly. So yeah, which is nice. And maybe I'll times it. Yeah, I got about 9 minutes. Favorite is periwinkle too? Yeah, it's good. You got good taste. And then blend it, blend it. And then add a little bit more pink, pink. Just like that. And now I think I could merge it all now actually. So let's see. This one? Yeah. Because we don't have much time left, so I'm just gonna have to spend less time thinking about which layers to do. Add some simple shading just to differentiate the feet, but I don't think I will be adding too much detail onto here. What is that? Yeah. Do you guys ever stream on Twitch as well? We thought about it, but I think we want to stick with YouTube because it's just nicer. Oh, you paused the movie? Nice. Thank you. And then deep. Deep, deep. Yeah. Trying to figure out what else I would need to add. I feel like I need to yeah, this part's kind of whack. So it's also good to take the time to just look at your drawing overall, trying to see what needs work and what needs to be changed. So I think the feet. I think I will change the feet. It's like that. I'll just add the toes, I guess, because it doesn't look like feet. It's supposed to be barefoot. So there. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Or I'll keep it simple, like Adventure Time feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2. Doop, doop. Because it's not really the main focus, it's just a detail to add. And then, oh, did not mean to rename that. Channel's on YouTube, so yeah. So true. I think Twitch, it would just like divide the audience, you know. Some people don't use Twitch. Like for me, I don't really use Twitch. I'm more a YouTube guy, even for live streams. Trying to think of what else. Yeah, thanks for joining. And how many more minutes? You got a few more minutes actually. Never usually write in chat. Word, it's nice. And most of the time, you have nice suggestions for me to do. I think I'm just gonna add some harder edges now. And I really like this brush. It's called Oil Pastel. So it's pretty much like an oil pastel brush. Let's see if that was worth adding. I guess so. Or maybe not. Let me saturate it a little bit more. When did I add an eye gradient? Did I add an eye gradient? I don't think I did. But alright, thank you. Yeah, have a nice lunch. I don't think I added an eye gradient. I just put black for the sclera, and then just a nice ghostly blue for the eye, and then I added black. And what else? What else am I missing? Yeah, because I could continue on, but then the changes that I could make will take a while. So I'm just trying to polish up this drawing before I call it a day. Here. And there. Just stepped in with the illustration. Yeah, they are wearing a red spider lily because this is a ghostly fairy. And so I felt like it was fitting to add spider lily. Trying to see. Kind of don't like the gradients at the bottom right now, so I'm gonna try to clean that up. Same with here. I think I got it. I'm gonna add shadow here just to differentiate the two. And then this blue, just realized it's just a plain blue. I'm gonna add a bit of like shadow just so it's not plain blue, like that, and like that. And illusions. Oh, you thought it was a gradient from here? Nah, I did not. Okay, this one is kind of getting in the way, so I'll delete that. Because I'm pretty sure I should... There's something about the sleeves I don't really like too much. Let's see. Can you eat the fairy now? Yes. Yes, you may, I guess. There you go. I feel like this one would be more cotton candy. Cotton candy flavored. Because of all the nice blues and pinks. It's a ghost. Yeah. It's a ghostly fairy. And Yeah, maybe I'll add more detail to the hand there. Yeah, it's also good to just take the time to stare, stare at your drawing, because you might have missed something, right? That's pretty much what I've been doing. I feel like right here, I will sharpen this a little, then cover this up a little, just like that. Copy paste, or merge, I mean. And I think I'm gonna make this a bit more rounded. Doop. And let's see what else. Guess I'm gonna add, this isn't supposed to be merged, this is supposed to be a divider. Also, stare at it from far away, exactly. Honestly, I think I gave her just the gloomy expression because, she's a ghosty fairy, spirit of the dead. It's like a gloomy, so I feel like a somber expression would have fit. Tells a lot. Or shares a lot about her character, I guess, if I gave her that expression in specific. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna add this, and right, I'm supposed to extend this part. Let me fix that. It's just like minor touches now, because I think this is nice. This is the most I've think fleshed out and shaded a character. Alright, you guys get to see my color process. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up. I think that's about all I got for this design. And let me see what the people are saying. Yeah, it just adds to the vibe, right? And then I like the red, the spider lily to contrast. It's a nice way to bring attention to the face. And yeah, I guess before we go, I did want to remind everybody that we're not just a YouTube channel. We're also an art school. So if you want to draw with me, you want to have classes, get feedback from me, you could go to our website and have our classes there. Spots are limited, so be sure to check it out as soon as possible. And you can become a YouTube member or a Patreon sub if you'd like to support us so that we could make more free content, right? And I think other than that, I hope you guys had a really nice hope you guys have a really nice day, and I hope you guys had fun in stream. So yeah, see you everybody. Bye bye.